Stay away from people who ask you for these 5 things. Carl Jung.
Some people don't want your best. They want your boundaries. They don't ask for your love. They demand your energy, your time, your attention. And if you're not careful, they will drain you dry while smiling to your face.
Carl Jung once said, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. And those people, they'll come to you, not for healing, but to escape themselves. That's why it's not unkind to protect your peace. It's wisdom. Because the wrong people don't just take from you. They rewrite your sense of self until you forget what's yours and what was forced upon you. The first thing they'll ask for, your time. Not your leftover time, but your prime hours. They'll call it just a quick favor, just one more thing. But soon, your schedule belongs to them. And if you say no, suddenly you're selfish, unavailable, changed. But here's the truth. The people who guilt you for protecting your time are the ones who benefited from you having none. Your time is your life in motion, and the more you give it away unconsciously, the less of yourself you have left. Jung believed that when we ignore our inner voice, we become shadows of others. And that's what happens when your time is no longer yours. The second thing they'll ask for, your emotional labor. They won't say it directly, but they'll bring chaos to your doorstep and expect you to clean it up. They'll offload their anxiety, their guilt, their unresolved trauma onto you. And if you don't absorb it, you're cold. You don't care. But caring doesn't mean carrying. You can have compassion without becoming someone's emotional landfill. Because some people don't want healing, they want an audience. Carl Jung warned, when we confuse empathy with responsibility, we lose our identity. You're not here to fix everyone. You're here to live in truth. And sometimes that means walking away from people who make their pain your problem. The third thing they'll ask for, your identity. Not directly, but through slow, subtle erosion. They'll tell you what to wear, what to believe, how to speak. They'll mock your differences until you conform to their comfort. And if you resist, they'll label you difficult, too much, not like you used to be. But here's the trap. If you edit yourself to fit in, you eventually forget what the unedited version even looked like. You stop being and start performing. Jung believed that the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. And that's why many don't want you whole, because your authenticity challenges their illusion. So protect your identity like it's sacred, because it is. And once you give it away, getting it back isn't easy. The fourth thing they'll ask for, your silence. They won't always say, be quiet. Instead, they'll say, don't make it a big deal. Let it go. Stop overreacting. They'll gaslight your instincts, make you doubt your own truth until staying silent feels safer than speaking up. But silence isn't always peace. Sometimes it's prison. Carl Jung taught that suppressing truth doesn't make it disappear. It makes it dangerous. Buried truths rot the soul. They manifest as anxiety, resentment, burnout, and worst of all, you become someone you don't recognize, tamed, muted, compliant. But you weren't born to please. You were born to live honestly, even if your voice shakes when you speak. The fifth thing they'll ask for, your dreams. They'll call them unrealistic, too risky, not the right time. And little by little, you'll start to believe them. Not because they're right, but because they're loud. and their fear wears the mask of logic. They'll tell you to be practical, but what they really mean is, be like us, safe, small, predictable. Jung warned us, when we betray our inner calling, we invite despair. Not the loud, dramatic kind, but the quiet ache that follows you through success, through routine, through a life that looks full but feels empty. Protect your dreams, not because they're guaranteed, but because they're yours. And no one else has to understand them to make them worth chasing. There comes a moment when you stop apologizing for your boundaries. You stop explaining your silence, justifying your dreams, negotiating your identity. You realize anyone who truly values you will never require you to shrink. And those who do, they weren't supporting you. They were surviving through you. Carl Jung believed that the path to wholeness requires confrontation, not with others, but with the parts of ourselves that still seek approval, that fear rejection, that cling to comfort. But growth isn't always graceful. Sometimes it's lonely, sometimes it's quiet, but always, it's worth it. Because every boundary you set reclaims a piece of your soul you almost forgot was yours. In the end, your life won't be measured by how many people liked you, needed you, or praised you. It will be measured by how true you remained to your own soul. You weren't put here to be everything to everyone. You were put here to become fully, unapologetically yourself. So let them call you selfish. Let them say you've changed. Because you have. You've evolved. You've remembered. You've returned to yourself. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." That privilege begins the moment you stop giving away pieces of yourself to those who never valued the whole. Protect your energy, honor your truth, and never again apologize for choosing you.